My name is Shawn Gilheeney, and I've lived in the Armory since 2005. My impression of this part of the city, when I grew up, we would come up here to go skateboarding, uh, and this was definitely a bad neighborhood or at least I thought it was when I was little. I mean, I had a friend who had moved down from the city, and he was sort of my liaison, and he knew this area, and you know, it was definitely known as not a good place to be late at night. My first inception into fine art making, I was originally inspired by the old Loutet laundry building that used to be down over next to the Citizens Bank. It was just the most beautiful old decayed building that sat there forever, sort of like an ancient ruin that sat at the end of the road there. And I don't know, it sort of was just beautiful in how it was growing back into the ground, or like the ground was reclaiming it, but it still had such a city feel to it, but slowly it was starting to become like a jungle. And I spent a lot of time going there and photographing it and coming back and making prints and making paintings of the prints. And yeah, it became I get like 5 years or 4 years worth of work, I think I spent just studying that one building and trying to understand like urban decay and make it beautiful. So yeah, then they knocked it down. Then I felt like I didn't have to go back there. Felt like a weight was lifted off my chest, when they knocked it down. I was like, oh great, I don't have to do this anymore. It's almost like I was trapped there until they did that. It's been like a gradual progression, but slowly but surely things just seem to be nicer, and like the farmers market moving in, and people putting work into the park and putting work into their houses, and it seems to be a slow progression of just and all the restaurants that have moved in, and now you can actually walk somewhere and get something to eat. And where before it was you had to travel all the way over to Atwell's. I sound like a Rhode Islander when I'm like, oh, you gotta go like you gotta go 6 whole blocks to get some food. Best part about living in this neighborhood is it feels like a neighborhood. Like I don't feel as if I'm stuck in a city. We're able to have a garden in the back, and the streets are relatively quiet, and it doesn't feel like you're stuck in a major urban center. And there's not a ton of people all the time. The road's pretty quiet. Yeah, I think that makes it nice. The sign company started about a year and a half ago, and as far as like signage in the neighborhood, I mean, we were really pleased to get to work with the leader uniform people and repaint their logo, just because their old sign that had been there forever was pretty inspiring. So that was really fun. So we're trying to put a little bit of thought and care and graphic design and art and colors, and make that visual landscape that we all have to see every day and be exposed to all this advertising, at least make it a little bit more artful, and make the neighborhood a little bit kinder. Like we did like Cluck, and also like all the stuff for Julian's, and just trying to make things a little bit funner and colorful, and yeah, less invasive or intrusive. Just the amount of work that went into, I mean, our house being built, I think in like 1892, and just understanding that a lot of this woodwork was done before power tools, and seeing the amount of detail and care that went into each one of these houses is, yeah, that is one of the biggest parts. When I've lived on the other side of the country, I think the one thing I missed was the sort of architecture that is actually around here that really feels, you can feel how old everything is and how much, I don't know, care went into building it. The Armory building itself is just amazing, and just how that green oxidized copper at the top of it will sort of just like bounce off that yellow that's on the building, the blue sky. I mean, just just the wackiness that there is a castle in the middle of the neighborhood is pretty awesome.